Okay, so my stomach's a little bit better today, but not. It still is like I don't know what to say. It's kind of like it feels like it's like on fire or something inside of me. Like so it's like got these shooting pains and stuff. And you know, when I had was pushed into really focusing on my gut back when I was on all that medication because I was on 18 pills and I was sick and they just kept piling more pills on. And I was so sick, man. And I was like, it was hard for me to get up and even walk. And even my mom has told me, like, she thought I was going to die. She got me some book about, because you get nowhere with the doctors. They don't know. They don't know shit. They're just constantly, and they have told people that they're crazy and stuff. So it's so absurd. Yeah, don't listen to your body. You're completely insane. Okay. In Dominican Republic, on the news, they're saying that women who don't wear makeup, they are psychopaths. Like, what the fuck? Oh my God. Luckily, in the comments, a lot of the women, because this was in the Dominican Republic, and a lot of the women, you know, were saying funny stuff. You know, as Dominican women, we don't need makeup and stuff, so we're too pretty and stuff. Um, and it seemed like a lot of the people wear it when they go places, but when they're just doing stuff or going, you know, around in normal life, it's more like it's the dress up thing. And that's how I see makeup too, is kind of like, you know, well, if I'm going to get dressed up, and I still don't do all of that other, you know, no matter how weird people think it is, I prefer normal skin. I keep finding myself doing this again. Man, when I start, I have no idea where I'm going, and it's a whole thing because I'll be having these things thinking like, man, I'll have to talk about that, and so, but I have no idea what I'm going to talk about. It just starts coming. So, but lately, like as my eyes are getting more and more clear, and my vision is getting better because it was already affected from the LASIK surgery. I had already had been losing I was having to wear readers, and I had lost my up close vision real quick. And so, and they just told me, oh, that's normal. And then I was like, the price of vain, man. Or the price of vanity. That's what a lot of people are facing this right now, the price of vanity, because everything has a counter. So some of us, we didn't know the counter when we made the choice, and we find out. So so my eyes were already jacked at that point. I was having to go to get appointments and stuff to get, because they were always so blurred out and stuff. So anyways, they keep healing and my vision keeps getting sharper and sharper, and all of these like double vision and all this stuff keeps getting better. And you know, and it's sad that so many people, when they get sick, they don't see the way out. It's because the medical is such a rigmarole of fucking bullshit. And we are going to people who are idiotic. Like, this was really getting to me yesterday, was degrees. And I was like, degrees. It's like a degree is an agreement with these university brains that are running the motherfucking world because they're sold out to these other motherfuckers where they get their grants and shit. They get their money for their causes or whatever the fuck they're looking into. And the sicker the shit they look into, the more money they get. And then so there's a bunch of fucking sellouts. The amount of sellouts that we have, that we are around on a daily basis, where people want to focus on Hollywood, they're all the sellouts, all the Hollywood, they're all about taken by the devil and all this stuff. It's like, all these motherfuckers. You got realtors, insurance people, developers, city council, cops, doctors. Every motherfucking thing has got these motherfuckers. I get worked up. Like, I definitely noticed too, where my patience is the most tested is dog walking. Oh, it's like where I see like, oh, Kelly, come on. And yesterday we went on 2 big old walks. So let me think. So we are surrounded by these motherfucker sellouts all up in our lives. That's why this place is so dark. It's inside of people, and they come here to, and when we're not in the dark, we're on the wave of this, because the dark and the light work together. And all these people playing out this darkness is going to, it's like a, man, some of this stuff, it's like, oh, I want to explain. And you can never get what and there's so many things, Jesus Christ, when I talk, like leaving comments, and then somebody will come in and comment to me, and I'll be like, what are you talking about? And then I'll reread my thing, and I'll say, and it's always like, you can take every motherfucking thing you say so many different ways. And you have to be on the same level as somebody to understand what the fuck they're saying. And it's trippy. Just start noticing it. So anyways, so it's like all these people who are of the dark, because everything, okay, because you got to think about all of us, we're all energy, we're all light and dark. We are the yin and yang. And so, yeah, you have balance even outside of here, where you feel like you don't have balance. When you're in the astral, or where you are normally, you would have balance. I don't think there's a lot of souls out there that go and hang out in these lower planes. We're all a lot more higher vibe. We're a lot more, and that's why so many things dissatisfy us, but that's why we're here to learn how to accept things, because that accelerates us up more. And it gets weird, because acceptance and forgiveness and stuff is very powerful. So all the people play both sides, and so it's like these groups, like I've said, like these groups come and play these things, and all the different people in the group have all these different roles. And then these groups come and play, and then they have all these different things. It's like snowflakes all coming at different times. It's all these patterns that are being played out. And each pattern has a little bit different, because of each of us bring a different angle to each situation, because it's through our perspective where we make our decisions, and each little thing is based on these parts of us. So everything is like these beautiful snowflakes of patterns. So all these soul groups come down, and they don't go down and just like, oh, here's our little lump. No, they go out into the world. That's how we go into each other's things, where people are like, the NPCs. It's like, those are people in a different reality. Jesus. And Jesus Christ. It's so funny. I say Jesus and Jesus Christ so much, and God damn it, I've been in so much trouble with my mom for saying stuff like that, but it just fits, man. So so how I see it anyways is so we have all this dark playing out. It's very, very dark right now. I mean, motherfucking, how dark can shit get? Like fucking 22 years old, and her only solution is to 15 different drugs, drive her daughter out of town, 2-year-old. She's like when I say, I'm pushed by going and walking the dogs, like some people are pushed by their daily fucking life. Like they cannot handle, like what was she's 20, so she probably had this baby when she's 19 or 20, got pregnant 18 or 19. Her friends at this point are out, like, they're all on Tinder and stuff like that. She sees, at this age, guys aren't interested in, you're a mom. Like I was a young mom, a single young mom. And yeah, and you even have people's parents tell them, don't go out with her. What, are you going to be strapped down? That's what my dad did. When I was talking about Paul before, the guy who I was just like, this was my first broken heart. Like my thing with Dickie, that it was like a broken heart that just went. But it was these challenges that I couldn't meet. I couldn't be confident. I couldn't be like, everybody knew it. And if he would ask, but there was a call. There was a man, a guy who called the night before I got married, and I would think I was somewhere with my friends or something. And my mom said he called and was asking for me. And in my mind, I've always thought, he wanted to, again, try and get me to say something. But that's, when we're all insecure. Like, there's so many weird stories that I've had over insecurity. Like Jack Bubel, had the biggest crush on when we were in school. We were both very quiet, and he was tall, dark, and handsome. He had dark skin, dark hair. He was very beautiful to me. And he would sit behind me, and we were both very quiet. And then it was not until we were adults, and he had been in a relationship with a girl who looked so similar to me. And he had been in a relationship for a long time, and my one friend that we'd been friends with, like we still are in contact, that she had ran into them at a party. And since, because we were all, as we got older, his wife we had been friends like a long while ago. And so she was talking to her at a party, and I got brought up somehow. And then he said, he had the biggest crush on me in school. And it's so wacky. That's one thing kids don't understand. Your insecurities are blocking you so much from this, you're back sitting, writing your poems of this longing heart. I just love so much. Somebody loved me. And then you've got all this around you, but it's not the time. These are all your lessons. So it's not, and I got these different people, but Dickie, that was the whole thing. Of course I wanted him to just give up, I wanted him to be the one to profess his love to me, make it a safe place for me. And I think he needed the same thing from me. Everybody knew. So, but anyways, that was a thing of the past, and I don't know why it keeps being so much in my thing. Like, his face keeps popping into my mind. It's really trippy. But Paul, this was my, fuck, oh God, this was my fucking heartbreak. It was so weird too, because even when you look at that relationship and you see it, and you're further away, you look back and you see these other things. And it's things that you didn't see before. When you're in it, you don't see it the same. And I was really like obsessed with him. And he was tall and thin, and he had shoulder length black hair. And his friends and stuff were kind of goth. He kind of had that like vampire vibe or something with his dark hair and his sultry dark eyes and stuff. He was very alluring. And he was super cool. He was a really good artist. He was just like, oh, he's the coolest man. And I liked him so much. And there was always a separation with us that really fed into my abandonment, rejection issues. So it made me feel more desperate. But he was just such a sweet guy, like such a nice guy. He moved in with me to help me with the court thing. But all this stuff just got to him. He was young. And it was a lot of stuff. Like, I had this crazy ex-husband who wanted to murder me. He kept taking me to court. And he was confrontational with Paul and stuff. And then my dad showing up out of the fucking blue. And I'm in California at this point, and here comes my dad, and this is when he was, he was probably on the run from something in Dallas. And because that's how he began to live his life. I think he would live like that a lot more. Like, that's what I'm saying. He was somehow connected into some stuff. But not like, he had, like, there was be millionaires sitting at our house, and they'd be playing cards and stuff. But it was, I think my dad was way more of a, like, he carried these things in his car, his friend, I don't know. And there's just a lot of stuff when you look back at your thing. But anyways, so he shows up, and he's probably all cracked out and just looking for drugs and prostitutes or something. I don't know. And he wanted to stay at my house. And I was like, hell to the no. Get going. No, stay at my fucking house. And I made him go get a hotel. So he went and he got a hotel, and he was not that far, but he would come over. And so we would come over and be around. And I had to, really watch my kids. Kids weren't allowed to be around him. And especially alone. Hell no. And that was one reason why you're not staying at my fucking house. Are you kidding me? Like, I'm gonna stay up all night and guard my kids from you? You psycho. Like, I know who you are. And so he was staying at this hotel, and he was drunk and whatever he was doing. I'm sure he was staying down at a place where there was probably drugs out in the parking lot. And and I was together with Paul, and Paul lived with me and my brother, and we had this really big apartment, and it was like huge. It was like the size of a house, and it was very cool. And then we went out one night, and we were driving back from Hollywood, and I used to drive this old 66, it was a 66 Mustang, and it was super cool. And so I was driving, and the brakes went out, and it wouldn't stop. And so I was panicking. We're driving. This happened on the freeway. And so I'm kind of panicking, and my boyfriend's in the passenger seat. And I'm like, well, we got to just, get closer to home. And then we'll just have to, like, surely when we roll up, it will stop. Like, I didn't know what to do. He didn't know what to do. I know now what to do. So at the time, I did not know what to do. And, but I since learned, because you learn these things when these things happen. And so we went all the way from Hollywood down to Orange County. And then I think we even were down by, it seems like we were kind of by Brea or Fullerton or something. I can't really remember exactly where that apartment was. Maybe it was kind of like off Beach Boulevard or something. It was probably somewhere around there. So it was pretty far. What was that exit? I can't remember what exit it was that I would take. But so so we're going, and I'm sure I wasn't just accelerating. I'm sure I was letting my foot off the gas, because I wasn't a drunk. But like, when I did go out and party and drink, I was like 18 years old, and I would go out and get myself fucking plastered. But it was at this point, I was older. I had kids and stuff, and so I didn't just, that's why I said my kids really brought me a restriction in life that gave me a purpose. Like, and so as we came up the thing, though, the car didn't stop. It didn't slow down, nothing. And then it turned and started going back down. And I turned and started going down the street, and it just kept going like it was picking up speed. And I'm like, what the fuck do I do? I don't know what to do. Oh God, it makes me, and so I turned to go into a parking lot, and in the parking lot just kept going until it just slammed into a big pole. But my boyfriend had already jumped out of the car. He jumped out of the car when we were coming up off the exit. So I'm alone at this point. He jumped out of the car. He's like, see ya. And he jumps out. You're on your own. Go die by yourself. And so I was like, okay. So he's out, and I go down, and I hit into a pole. And then it's like 3:00 in the morning. And so it's like, well, we'll just have to leave the car here and go. But then the cops come wake you up. Did you wreck your car and leave your car in the parking lot back there? And so I don't even remember what all went down with that whole thing, because I don't know. I've always had an issue with compliancy or something with this judicial system. And then it was kind of funny how then years later, then I'm having to go to them to make decisions over if the doctors and stuff fucked me over. Of course, it went against me. Like, I saw that coming. So anyways, so I left my car, and I got in trouble. I got a ticket and all that stuff. So my dad, this is the part where my dad did step in. This was the part, because this is like his dream come true. Like, he was constantly building cars ever since he was young, because he would That's how he lured my mom in. He was one of those guys that was out in front of the car, like James Dean, with his out in front of the school when the girls would come out, and he would be out there in his cool ass car. She said he had the coolest fucking car, and he was super cool. He was very James Deanish, and so he was always building. That's something that he would do with my brothers and stuff. And they built a really cool 57 Chevy, and see, that got my brother where he got one, but my brother had a lot of his stuff built by somebody else. Like, yeah, my brother's Chevy is like show quality, and that he has spent, I don't know, I think that car's like $250,000 or something. How much he spent on that car is like crazy. And so anyways, and I don't even know, I mean, maybe he has sold it. My brother is very in the one in Southern California. And I got to talk about this thing too. Okay, I gotta grab this so much because I have to finish that too. Okay, this story though, where I was even trying to get to with a story, but so my dad got, he was good with car things, so he got my car, and then he became friends. So in my alley behind us was this whole thing, and it was all these Mexican guys that didn't speak good English and stuff. They were the coolest guys, and my dad became all friends with them, and they worked on cars and stuff. So he started having this little thing, but he would still go back to his hotel. But he would be there all the time, and he went and got another car. So he went and found another car for me that was a 65 Chevy, and he started putting the two together. And so he was making me a car in the garage all day while I was at work, and my kids weren't there. Weren't there. They were with their dad, or that was the thing, is that their dad would make them be with him all the time. He was slowly taking them through the court system. This is California back at the time. It was so absurd. And he wouldn't work. So his whole thing was that he's home all day, and he lives with his the grandparents, and they all, they're just this great family unit. And she's some old drug addict, and who just sleeps with a bunch of different guys and stuff. So he kept turning everything against me. And but I had to have roommates, and there was no young girls wanting to move in with a young mom, and I didn't have friends then from there. I wasn't even from this state. So, but boyfriends, yeah, they'll move in. And so then you have somebody to share your rent with. So it was not, that's why you can't just judge people. Like, there's some things that are out of the person's necessity. I was trapped in California. I couldn't afford it. And the state wouldn't let me take my kids. And I kept trying, but they wouldn't let me because the dad wanted them. And he wanted them just because I don't know, he hated me, or for some reason. It's the weirdest thing when you look back on it. It's like, you pursued me so fucking hard to get something that you fucking hate. Like, it's kind of psycho. But this is the thing that twists around in people with rejection and stuff like that. And then they put all this expectation on you, and then you fail them, and then they hate you. So that's why we got so many toxic relationships. It's trippy too, because I had done a video about that the other day, and I had said something. And this woman, I said about this going into this time where you are going to meet your match, and you want to meet them at your best, not at your worst. Like, I don't know what match, everybody's got their own match, and where you are and what you are here to work on or whatever. But so you can meet them at their best. And that this person said, oh, well, what I have always understood is that the people being very different, and then them becoming like one or something. But that's so toxic. And I pointed out the reasons why it develops codependency. It develops, and in the positive side of it, it develops the codependency that is very toxic. And then the worser even is the resentment that gets built. It becomes a power pull, of who's right and who's wrong. And so it's not complimentary. It's all about lessons. You've got to be whole. You don't need to have another person to fill you and to complete you. When there's parts of you missing, you got to work on those parts. And so, anyways, on the thing with my dad, when he was around, Paul had come home from work one day. I was still at work. And he started talking to Paul and started saying, what are you doing with this lady with these kids? Like, you're young, good looking, get out there and live your life. What are you doing? But my dad didn't see Paul as being a good fit for me, just like the dad in the movie. Like, my dad was very much like that. And so he ran Paul off. Paul broke up with me. He went home. He moved out. He said he was going back home. He had to think about it. He had to just, really get a shit, think about stuff, because my dad just, really got him thinking. And, but within a week, he had a new girlfriend, and they've been married for, ever since then, and got kids and stuff. So it was but that's what I was saying, that, I had other guys that I went out with, and their moms were telling them, don't go out with her. She's got kids and stuff. So it was, these are all the different things that people go through. But anyways, that girl, doing in her kids, she probably had nobody, she probably felt so alone and stuff. And I'm sure there's tons of girls out there. And then this kid just is taking from him, and they don't know what to do, and they can't handle it. And this kid wants things, and they've got nothing to give. And their friends are out having fun. And it's just is, but these are the soul's journeys that the souls have to, and then you get to go to your life review and go over and say, well, how you thinking now? How you feeling now? Now you see the aftermath. What are you thinking? And this girl, she's got like 33 years or something now. She's, her life is going to be a different kind of life. And when you get it, and when they imprison you like that, it's kind of like what you do with it. And you're so limited. They just make more and more limitations on us. And so, I don't know. That's the whole thing. But when you get back to the dark and the light, so we all have this dark and this light. And so the dark is being played out by a lot of different people. Like these people that I bitch about, those developers and realtors and city council and doctors and all these, the lawyers, all these people who have just been walking us off the fucking plank. But, they haven't the degree to agree that what they are telling us is the truth. And so, so they all play these roles, to have money, or in some of these cases too, even if somebody wants to speak out, the group around them is like a subculture that is created. Like doctors all hang out with doctors, lawyers hang out with lawyers, like this kind of thing. Is it the parameters they keep you locked in too? So there could be somebody who's like, well, fuck that, because that's where we get these whistleblowers, and it's always been very dangerous for whistleblowers. But that is one reason why we have an extreme amount of whistleblowing right now, is because that shows us this change of weather that is occurring. The parameters on these people's keeping quiet is being lifted, because they aren't as in danger anymore. And like I said, I think some of their stories are being released by other people, and maybe they were done in with that. Maybe they did meet a red tie, but but their stories will continue. And then there's also some that are being fake, that it's not really that they are, but it brings attention to the story. So then we pay attention. So then we find out what they're talking about. So some of it is kind of like a manipulation, but it's all in regards to a positive of trying to get information out. So that's why I say, like, there's dark that creates light. And so there's a lot of these spectacles being played out by all these different soul groups and all these different situations and stuff, that it wakes us up, it enlightens us, and we see this is the light coming in to, our own thing of the light. As a lot of us were already carrying the light, but the light, it's trippy when you're carrying the light, because you're surrounded by the dark, and on a spiritual level. Like, you're constantly met with people making fun of you and stuff like that. So you're very contained. And so, because this place was so full of dark. And so, but this is what's cool, is that, like, even though the people don't realize this, the parts they're playing and stuff, but it's like this fucking dance. It's so fucking cool. This energy, this big change and stuff. it's very cool. Um, Even though it seems like, this is so horrible and so many horrible things, but that is because your perspective is very stuck on the three-dimensional and not thinking about the spiritual. Like, none of these people are really dying. This is all like a dance. This is a show. This is a performance. And it's very, what is that, kind of electric, very electrified performance. It's very spectacular. And that is where we have so much. um you know what's trippy is, like, back in 2016, like I said, and I was putting these things on Facebook and I was showing people all the time. That's why I got the telescope, and I was looking up at the stars and stuff, and I was seeing there was spacecraft all around us. And I was telling people all the time, and I was pointing them out. I'm saying, see that? That's not a star. That is lights going around and stuff. There's these lights. These are not, I kept telling people, these are not stars, you guys. And everybody was like, oh, that's great. So now, and I had to just write it out, just like know my no and let go. And so then the people now who are all talking about, like, I don't go in and read all their comments and stuff like that, but there's lots of people now who are pointing it out and showing, like, these aren't stars, you guys. These are energies or ships or something. These are, and it is that this world isn't like what we thought. And I swear there's something to this star thing, what they told me. Because when I was a kid, there were so many stars in the sky, so many stars. And now there isn't. And it's a lot of ships and stuff. But the stars, when I had said that time, I said, where did all the stars go? And they said that they were born. And I was like, oh, because it is like these energies coming through this portal and coming into this birth or something. I don't know, but it makes sense to me. So, anyways, so we have this spectacular event going, and it is like when this light comes in, it's like where I said, it's like the lights come on, and it is kind of like, okay, I get this. So it's kind of like, okay, you're driving down the road and you're in a hurry. You're thinking about what your boss is going to say, and you're very distracted. Got something going, maybe your kid's screaming in the back or whatever, but you're very distracted. You're in your own world. You're in your own bubble, and you're just going down the traffic or going down the road. And then all of a sudden a wreck happens right in front of you, and you have to slam on your brakes, and you have to start sliding sideways up into the wreck, and you don't even know if you're going to hit into it, and it's going to come right up like an inch apart. And that's where we're at. In this part where everyone's distracted and doing their thing, this giant thing that is going to create this thing, which it sure can be this earthquake. Boy, there are a lot, I guess it makes sense on some parts. Like, I can see, it makes sense, It would make less sense, yeah, to dole out all of this money to all these people and then that they would die. So it would make sense that the money would be, the crash and stuff would be after the earthquake. But I don't know. We'll see. None of us know. There's just a lot of people who are feeling this and seeing this. And I had just seen a woman, and I'd seen her the other day talking, and I don't remember what all I heard her say, if I listened to the whole thing or whatever, because there's so many of these people, prophets and stuff. Because, like, I'm telling you, like, we've all been like seers and mystics and stuff. It's like a part of the learning. It's a part of learning your own magic and stuff. And then there's times where some of us, we did use the magic. And a part of it too, like what I see, like when you're a seer or something, just think of like the Game of Thrones, like the Red Witch. And you think about, all of this stuff. You get yourself entangled. Like you're telling him, yeah, go kill all of them. And that's the only way forward. Go kill all those people. You're entangled in that. And see, that's the, and I have an awareness of that. And I know where the awareness comes from is learning it. And so that is why I say, and I have a complete understanding of like the darker energy and the lighter, and the light is getting into harmony with the universe and what it's doing, and not trying to fight and battle it. That's when you go into the dark and you start using this dark energy, you pull on it. And then, a lot of people have fed it. There's a lot of dark energy in this realm in here. And that's why I said, like, when when we are not of the dark, because I do think that there are some of these people who get themselves trapped in the dark. I don't think like all of us, but these people who are the ones in control and stuff. Like, I have a hard time imagining Hillary not being of the dark, especially with her such a pull towards the dark. And then through all of the things that she did, nothing turned her towards the light. So there's people who are just so dark of the dark, if you get what I'm saying. And because there's a lot of things going on right now that is waking people up that have got a lot of dark inside of them, and they're starting to have to face their own darkness, and in their own choices and stuff. Things are starting to have consequences. Things are starting to change appearance. Everything is in this changing. So if there was people who were a lot of darkness, then the things that they used to be able to do, they're having more issues. Things aren't going so smoothly anymore. Things are, and they're being more seen for who they are. And some people don't even realize how exposed they are. They don't realize what we're seeing, because they are still under this illusion that they are not being seen. I see it like these Halloween costumes and stuff is how I'm seeing it. And this person under like a ghost, like a sheet or something. And it's like they think we don't know who's in there. But it's like it's quite obvious. And so anyways, it's just all this exposing, but it's going to have a sense of humiliation, because that is how you humble the ego, is to knock it off its high horse. And so there will be a lot of that humiliation that's going to go on through this, this event of awakening. But that is when this thing happens, when this light comes in. It is like this. It's like this fireworks. It's like this spectacular. It's going to, when it comes, however it happens, and when they show me that thing about the car wreck, the people being distracted and suddenly there's a car wreck, that makes sense that there's this event, this physical event on our landmass is going to, and there's so many videos, and the news isn't talking about this shit, there's so many videos of land opening up. There could be some news talking, like I can't say that for sure. There could be some that are saying, I mean, I know in California they keep saying, and this one's falling, but there's a lot of different things. There's a lot of different cracks, and there's some people who are watching all that stuff and putting them together and showing like it's cracked here, it's like all this stuff. And these cracks are going, of course, with the map. The one guy who I saw doing that, he was saying it goes exactly with the doomsday map, you guys. That's a naval map. Like, people have got to really start paying attention to this. So this girl who I had seen the other day, and I just saw her, she was talking about, so now she's answering people. So she told them about her dream or whatever it was. No, hers is in a meditation kind of thing. Like, so she went to talk to God. And so in her thing where she talked to God, he said that we're about to split in two, which that is like where we're at. We have these two opposing forces right now. So it makes sense that it's going to split into two, because it's micro macro. It's showing us. And, and we have to figure out how to come together and have empathy and compassion. There's going to be a lot of crazy shit that's going to happen. Like, if I was right on one of those lines, one thing too that she said is that so she said that she asked God what states are going to be affected. And he gave her a fucking list, and she read the list. And some of them are partial and some of them are full. And so over by New York, over Maine, New Hampshire, all of those kinds of places, these really old places, this is one thing too. And you got to be thinking about some of these places have had so much war and battles and these energies, and it's like it's time to put it to rest. It is like there's all these things happening, but then it's going to go under the water, like with the history, and new places are going to pop up, and they're going to become, and it's going to, these maps have a, you know, a significant impact on where we're going to be. And so this that whole area is going to be gone. Then the east coastline is going to be like cut in, and some places are cut a little bit more than others, but it has to do with like the elevation. Like all the places that's where you're going to be able to tell. And like Florida, there's parts that are like below sea level, like they have to pump water out. They have this big fancy system, so the lowest parts are going to be in water. She said Louisiana is not going to be completely gone. It's partially going to be gone. In the map, it sure looks like it's mostly gone. But she didn't say Washington was going to be gone. She didn't even say partially. And she said, if I didn't say your place, it'll probably not be affected. But you know, I know it's going to be, like they had a 6.6 by Vancouver. So where I'm at is so on the coast of Washington. So if this was the coastline, but the coastline goes like this kind of. So like if this was the top, and so Seattle is right in here. This is the San Juan Islands, and this is like a peninsula. And so this goes up along here. And so right here, we're in Canada now, and it curves around right here. So Vancouver is right here. And so it's a part of right here. And see, the Cascadia is this big, giant mountain range that goes through North America. And so this is where I'm saying that this water, when it comes in, because they're saying this big tsunami. She's saying, like, there's a bunch of people saying this big tsunami is coming. This earthquake's going to create. And then the earthquake could be across the Ring of Fire, because this is the Ring of Fire. This is where all of this activity is in this, where all of these places, like Indonesia or something, is over here. So it's all of these places around here, which, you know, and that's based on their map, but which things are not how they think, how they seem. We're in like these realms and stuff. I don't know how to explain it. But so you have this here. So Seattle's here. And then see, I'm like right over here. And then so right here would be like Bellingham. And so then it would go up like this. So there's this part of Vancouver that turns like right here, which is trippy because like this little fingertip is actually a part of America. Although you have to go through Canada to get there, or through by boat. Like, that's just weird shit, man. So, which I would think is probably because this was part of it, and then the water came in or something in one of their resets or something. Who knows? But so Vancouver is right here. And so these earthquakes are already going. So they got a 6. Okay, so then when you got on here, this is where Oregon is right here. And so right here in Oregon is where where the scientists are watching. Their plates are moving. There's stuff shooting up in the ground right here. And so the split will go something like around here. So see, this is what I'm saying. It's going to be real close. This one map that I had seen, it looks like where I'm at would be the new San Juan Islands. These would be the new islands, but it's all has to do with elevation. And I still may be too low, even though I had said, well, if shit goes down, I'm going to go up. So I'm going to go up towards Mount Baker, which is, you know, is an iffy thing because it could already be having volcanoes. So that is like, and this is gonna ricochet. There's gonna be so much stuff, and there's so much activity around all these because there's people watching this stuff, and there's so much activity around the volcanoes over here. And they're going to be right. Look, there's 3 motherfucking volcanoes or something right here in goddamn Washington State, and then we still got the super volcano that's just a little bit further over. So so when this shit goes down, it's gonna split. And this water is going to rush out, but the peninsula, I think, that's going to more save me. And then, so if I was to go from Bellingham, where I was saying like the Bellingham being, if I can make my fingers do this, whatever the hell I was doing before. I don't know what the hell was I doing before. If I, so when the water comes, so from here, it takes me about 35 minutes to get to the ocean. So if I were to go to Bellingham and drive to Bellingham and go to the ocean, that is about how long it would take me. And so the water has to go from here and go back like about 40 miles back here to where my house is. But not only just that, it's got to go through all of this. And Seattle's right here. It's right there. And so that is where it's going to get fucked. Tacoma, Olympia, all of them are right there. And that is the main part of this West Coast. And she said that God told her that California, he didn't call California, that's just fornication corner or something. Like, it's just like the place, it's so unholy, it's so immoral there. And it's true, it's a very dark energy there. People are very shallow. People are, and that's why I said it's weird how there's like people who are into natural and stuff, but there's this very shallow. It was weird. One thing that tripped me out when I moved to Washington State, that used to always trip us out, is we would be sitting there and be like, oh God, I really want to go up to the store and get some like popcorn. And it's like, but fuck, I don't want to get up and go. And then it'd be like, I could go just like this though, couldn't I? And we would both be just like, yeah, we're in Washington State now. We can just go in our pajamas. And we just get up and go. And in California, oh no, people get up and women, I think, spend 2 hours getting ready to go to the grocery store there. People put on, like, they dress for the grocery store. Like, everything's a show. And everybody wants to be famous. And everybody's looking for somebody to discover them. It's crazy there. And then people are so shallow and don't give a shit. Like, there's all these bars now that are being shown that they're a part of this system, let's get some organs around here. These people, and all the people that come in traveling. So, you're sitting there talking to a bartender. Don't start telling them, you don't know anybody or any of that shit. You're here just for the trip. Like, bye, see ya. You're out there. Your parts are parted out. So anyways, that, the darkness is all around us. So, and it would be centralized in these bigger cities, Nashville, Memphis, St. Louis, all these different places have all got this. And that's why there's so much coming up. Philly, all these, the danger, Will Robinson is all around you. And this is where you start seeing, because there's nothing there hiding it anymore. It was the danger, it was always there. It is now, it's all just, it's explosive. It's like, this is where you gotta like really start paying attention. Like, what the fuck, man? And there's so many people who just keep being like, the things that they say and stuff, it's like I don't know. It's just like a very disconnected of them in life. Like, I don't know what, I could explain it more. It's very strange to watch how some people act and interact over certain situations. Just like, these people who are so spiritual, and they're telling people, oh yeah, you just totally shocked your guides. They weren't expecting that at all. It's like, what the fuck? What? So, anyways, so at this part where it's all explosive, where this energy is like this light, it's like, it is like this light is like this fireworks and exposing the dark. It's like the light hitting into the dark. And so that is what we're really close to. Oh yeah, and on the land things, so elevation, like she said, if you're in Colorado, go up into the mountains more, which, that gets us up into where, giants and Bigfoot and stuff, like all these people now, everybody's seeing all this shit. I mean, it's every fucking where. And so, you don't go into these places ignorant, know that you're entering other realms where there's a lot of, skinwalkers and shit out there. It's not just bears and stuff. There's all sorts of things. There's portals all over the place. Now people are starting to realize there's portals through the city. I mean, somebody had said that they built the capitals, and every single state is built, that is where it's an energetic kind of a portal place or something, which makes sense. I'm telling you, they know, because it isn't just this weird thing. There's a reason why portals are popping up all over in the sky. They're all around us. The actual, if all the lights went out and we weren't able to see anything but energy and stuff, it's you would think of it like a cave system of honeycombs, of entry portals into different places. You enter that portal, in that arena is an energetic experience, and all the experiences are on all different levels, but everything is like this giant honeycomb of like caves and entryways and stuff, of like your energy, it can just go and go to all these different places. But like I've said, in this one, there's a purpose to this being birthed in, but also there's a whole thing about humans becoming this new, like okay, so like a certain kind of shoe like is invented for us, and they go through all these different kinds of shoes, and then we get to a certain shoe that is like, man, this shoe is nice, everybody loves this shoe, everybody fits this shoe is good, I love this shoe has great purpose, it's very fully functional shoe. That is kind of like what humans have become. And so it's like, because you got to think of yourself, a human is a spacesuit. It's a glove. It's something to put on to have an experience in this place. Although I believe that is a part of this ascension, is leaving that concept behind. It's already like, that is what is accomplished. And so it's not like that's our goal. Our goal is that we're leaving that behind, because we're going more into this astral body, because it's letting go of these concepts of where they hold us and hold our minds, and going more towards what you are and who you are on the inside. And then that realization pulls you more into this magnificence of what you are, because what holds you back is the chains in your mind that keeps you at a density of understanding of yourself in a peculiar method of being able to experience. And so it keeps you in a limitation. It's like an imprisonment. All of these things, it's like a micro, macro. There's a reason why they have prisons. There's a reason why they make rules for us to break. All is micro, macro. And everything is showing us everything else. And everything is an expression of everything else. As I said, everything is like you take a nucleus of something and then you get it wet and it spreads. Everything comes from that, but it spreads, and everything is that of which is that is which leaks from this thing. And that is micro, macro too, because we all, in every level of life and experience, is that same concept. So anyways, we're at this point where this light is going to come in, and it's like okay, so never ending stories always coming up. The dark being like this beast, and then this light, and it moving, and then everybody taking it with them, like being shrouded in darkness and being comfortable, and they don't realize that they are until the light comes in. That's what's going to be so shocking, is, people are not going to see this coming. And so the light comes in, and it is, right now, it's pushing back. Those of us who are pushing the light, we're pushing back on the dark. We're exposing it. We keep pointing it out, pointing out this, pointing out that, showing this, showing that. And it expands all of our views, all of us being able to see more. And so the dark is being exposed all throughout this whole thing. But then there's going to be this moment of impact where that creates this explosion of light, and that is what is coming. But it's like, we're all waiting to see, what's going to go down. And it's so much. I mean, I know that the land masses are going to change. And yeah, I would wish that they would do it slowly, but that 100% can be the thing that's going to be the big impact. And we're so close. Like, there's this 6.6 in Vancouver. At the same time, like by Oregon, there was like a 5 point something. And in Southern California, they're just having a whole bunch. And then this weird weather thing, like this motherfucking fog. Like right now, my stomach's killing me. Like as soon as I finish with this, I will be rushing to the bathroom. Right when I'll think like, oh, it's feeling a little better. And then somebody else in the comments, and they did take their kid to the doctor and stuff. And one thing I want to say is that we all have different, what is that? Different, like amounts of something that would affect us. So, like, everybody has different things that can affect them. So like whatever, from all of my poisoning and stuff throughout all of my life. And then, removing my gallbladder, all the different things that they have done to make me sick. And then all of the medicines and stuff. Because like I said, I was on 18, they're just adding on more and more and more. And I'm dying from it. I went off all of them. And I had colitis. I was sick as fuck. And then also, having the E. coli, and that was given to me. And even yesterday I was thinking, because I keep thinking, man, did they do something to this water? Have they fucked with this water and that's what's going on? And I've got some other fucking parasite thing now, because it wouldn't surprise me. Because I was even thinking, even when they're on the news saying, oh, everybody's got E. coli, how the fuck do we know? Because the news told us. It could be any motherfucking parasite in there. It could be something that's been in there dormant and is, then they spray something outside and that just triggers this thing to awaken. So that is what I'm saying. We all have a bunch of very specific things going on in each of our bio ecosystems. And so that is why, like you could be having something, but somebody else may not. And then there's also, for some of us that our bodies have been in this high trigger and stuff, that we've developed these autoimmune. It's like there's so many toxins that are attacking us all the time. Our system is just whacked out. It's like, and so it feels it immediately. And there's something right away your body reacts. And so some of us react to some of these things before other ones. And so it can still be like this is coming for more people, but the people who are the most sensitive are going to feel it first. Like I've got a fucking headache. Like I know it's some sort of gassiness or something. Like, and this is what they have done, and I know the fog is a carrier. And yesterday, once the fog cleared, and we went out for our walk, and I took him to the camp place over here at Silver Lake. And we went and walked around out there. And I was feeling so lightheaded. It smelled so strong of bleach. This is out in the forest. And it was, there's a lake kind of close, but they're not putting that much bleach so I can smell it way over here. And so it smelled so much like bleach. And I was like, and everything was moist. And everything is moist because of the fog. And so I'm like, oh, see, all this carrier stuff. It lays it right out here. Then we all walk around and shuffle it up. And then we breathe it all in. And I was feeling so like, man, I feel poison. And I felt so weird. And, but that is what they do. One way of doing it. There's other people who are realizing that they're spraying at night. And so if you don't have the fog, don't think like, oh, well, we're okay. Nobody's okay. They're after us all. So, and maybe in some of the places it can be that they know that there's a lot of people are going to be taken out. So there can be some places that they aren't doing things. But then it also seems like they're doing things because they're trying to make it happen faster. And then there's one side of the group that is trying to, get people to wake up and to leave. Like, things are so bad, you gotta get the hell out of here. And they're really making a thing on the second attempt on him, which I saw another person saying that he this was a psych oh, it's a woman who's talking about, she's watching this tarot girl, and this tarot girl's doing cards on this, what's going on. And she said that this guy, the second one of these, that it's going to turn out he is hired, and he is some cheap out, like, go down to the gas station, oh, you do people in, let's pay you. So he's some kind of low grade mercenary kind of hitman kind of guy. And because of course it's going to be that, because it's going to show how shady these certain people are, because everything is about this exposing. So it was like, yeah, I'm sure that's what's going to go down. This is to expose all that, and they're bringing so much attention to it. And like Megyn Kelly, she's bringing attention to, like, the people have no compassion for this family, for this guy. Like, the things being said are disgusting. What's wrong with you people? Then Melania is going out and she's saying stuff like there's all his kids and all these people who have the TDS, see, they can't see them as humans. And so all these things are happening to get them out of this TDS, but they keep fighting against it. And that's an internal battle. Just like what I was trying to say yesterday, about when I was realizing about the awareness, at the same time as realizing about the biases. Because when the neighbor had known who I was in support of, because back then I was more in the support on the politics. And at this point, it's like, this is absurd. Like, fuck this bullshit. Yeah, this guy is, he's here to walk us into liberty and freedom. And he's not here to control us. So, yeah, I'm going to support that. And, but I don't support leaders leading us, because we know where the toxic bullshit is. It's being exposed. It's shown to us. But she was very much blue, and I was red, like considered red, because nobody really listens to what you have to say, because they hear words, and then what they take those words as is what they hear. And so I was realizing, like, when she kept thinking I was lying about stuff, I was like, why would she think I'm lying? Like, this is so weird. And as when I started realizing about the biases and stuff, like the biases and stuff has been something that has been stood out to me throughout a lot of this. It definitely started in 2016 in the first one of those go-rounds. Because when I was reading stuff on Facebook, and then I started telling people, and I was telling people he's going to win and stuff like that, and people were getting so fucking pissed off at me. And I started being able to see. And then once I saw the bullshit, and I started telling people that I really saw, like, oh my God, people don't, like, there's like some kind of hypnosis on people. It's weird. And then, it all kept playing out and playing out. But that is where it's all on your biases. That's why you got to find out, figure out, like, who do you have biases? Who do you think is not worthy? Because they play off of that. And then they do all this subliminal messaging and stuff throughout the world to get people to divide and hate each other and not trust each other and stuff. So you have to pull yourself out of that world and into your own of logic and connection. And so this is this thing that's happening, is like all these souls pulling free from this control into their selves. That's this ascension, is that this pulling into yourself, your truth, you are the all, you are the everything. And so and everything thus far has been controlling you and making you into something that you're not. So, and there's all these people who have been playing in the dark, who have to face those sides of themselves. But we need to have compassion and empathy, but it's a part of their soul journey. It's a part of their karmic cleanup. So it's things that they have to figure out how to maneuver through and face. And we can just, as spiritual beings, just be supportive and keep reminding them, that all this healing has value, and you will find yourself. And the parts of you that you're letting go of are the parts that you don't admire about yourself. And so that is a healthy thing to do. So anyways, we have all of those things that are going, and that is what is this spectacular moment that is ahead, that's going to be bumpered up from this tragic event. And so very well could be like today. I mean, we could have this giant fucking earthquake today, or it can start, like some of these rumblings and stuff is splitting the land. Like it's deep splits that are happening, and everything is going to change. The land mass is going to change, and it's going to is going to be very different. Like everything is going to be very different. And so, and California is full of so much toxicity. Like even now, where so many cities there are so overrun with drugs and homelessness and stuff like that. And, not want to be judgmental or mean or anything like that. There is a lot of surrendering and giving up and not caring anymore of people who are on drugs and homeless and stuff. So, that is where I think a lot of them are going to, a lot of them are going to go. People who are living on the streets and stuff and feel this sense of survival, they will, be moving more into places where they would be safer, and then their journey will be, the comeback. It was going to be a lot of that, the comeback kid kind of mentality, like I was at the depths of hell and I brought myself back from it. There's going to be a lot of that, and that is going to be everybody's stories, everybody, what they were able to do, how they were able to save themselves, what they were able to conquer, what they were able to overcome. So there's going to be a lot of that heroic, this self like value, like you matter, you have worth, and you have to save yourself to prove it to yourself. You can't just sit back, like a damsel in distress. It seems like it was a part of my theory of getting through life before. I was so beat down at certain parts. It was like I just went into the damsel in distress and not even meaning to. But that is the thing, is like the things that you go into are exactly where you're supposed to be. I was supposed to learn from that. I was supposed to be able to learn enough that I could speak about it so other people could hear, and then they could see like, oh, I do that. Oh, I can fix that. I don't need to do that anymore. There's a reason why I'm doing it. And, there's a broken part of us, and then there's a healed part of us. And you don't do those little damsel in distress. You're more honest and open and forthright, and that takes a vulnerability of a sense of self. So that is where you have to heal and feel sure about yourself and love yourself, And before, so many people are just trying to hide themselves. What was this? I had heard something. It was a commercial yesterday when I went out to go get water, and we went to the walk, and it was on the radio, and I always have this Canadian radio, and he was saying something about what was it? Maybe I'm not, it doesn't matter. Let me see. It's so weird, because I can see it, and then all of a sudden it just disappears. Because he had said something about, so weird. So it's like all this interference starts coming. I can't think of it. It probably just doesn't matter. But one thing that is important is to remember you are, because this one lady who was talking about all these places going in, the people in her comments are freaking out and they're scared. They don't know what to do. And it's going to be real bad over there. Like one of the most, the biggest abrupt splits is going to be, like a lot of those places up by New Hampshire, Maine, and all that kind of stuff. It may be like a hurricane or something comes in and raises the water, and they all go into a flood or something. Like that could be what is going to go down, and maybe one is going to go all across the shoreline. But it's the bigger split. It's the one in the Mississippi, the one that's going to divide the country in half. That is the one that's going to be the most dramatic, I think. California is going to be very, very dramatic. But I swear, it's like it's going to have to go in segments. I just don't see how this whole West Coast is so fucking, when you look at the thing, how much is going to be moved on the West Coast it's like, I can't imagine that happening in one swift event. I think there's going to be a very devastating event. And so let's say over there in the Mississippi, if that goes down, or when it goes down, because all of those states are all like it's just go look at the map and you can see what's going to happen to these states when this happens and it splits in two. Then there will be reverberation, and that's going to be the reverberation under the ground is going to be going out, and that is where it's going to create more with volcanoes, and more events will be triggered from one event. And then once it gets over here to the West Coast, I think that there's going to be earthquakes and stuff. I think there's going to be a lot of shifting and land splitting and stuff. But for the water to come all the way up to that and for California to be gone, I think it's going to go more in segments. Like there'll be some really bad earthquakes, a bunch of people will get killed, and a bunch of people will start leaving. Because but there will be other people who will be like, oh, well, now we had the big one, it's fine. And those people's arrogance will be what will take them out, because they're not connected, they're not listening to Mother Nature or giving a sense of respect. So they will not stay, they go learn or whatever at their life review. But that's what I think, because the West Coast is so fucking dramatic. Like I can see the Mississippi one splitting, a huge earthquake happening over there. I mean, they're supposed to be getting all prepared for it too. Like St. Louis, like this huge earthquake going and splitting, and then all of this water start filling in. So all of the things, the same thing that's happening over there in California, where the land is shifting and everybody's houses are falling. So to kind of be like that, like in Florida, they've had a lot of these sinkholes open up and people's houses go in them. So it would be kind of like that. Like that happened over in Turkey when it had that big split. In Africa, they're having some big splits and stuff. So, and don't forget also in Africa, they're saying that there's a part in Africa where there's still dinosaurs. So if you want to think that we're not living in realms and stuff, that, we're living in realms. We're not living in this, like what they tell us. It's very different. And so when that all goes, it seems like that could go like over, it seems hard to imagine it would go like overnight, but it seems like it could go like over a week, that it could change dramatically. Because when it was showing it in Turkey, and when it's showing some of these other ones where the land is just sliding, because there was one that just got caught on footage in Canada. And there's two people in boats, and one of the boat people, and it's like they heard a loud sound, and then all of a sudden it was like this landslide, and they all had to zoom their boats out because the land started, like all these trees and stuff falling. And so whatever goes down, it can go, instantaneously, because there's a lot of things going on. Like I keep feeling like all sorts of things on the ground, like vibrations. Like right now there's like a vibration, like there's all different things, like there's rumblings, there's things happening. Like and the more you heal, I'm telling you, the more that your body like feels these things. It's very trippy, but I think it's part of like us becoming more instinctual, getting more in touch with this animal instincts inside of us, and being able to feel our environment, because we're not so distracted with all the dramas. So there definitely is a lot of a feeling like everywhere. It's in the air. Changes in the air. And so when the split happens, I think it's going to be very abrupt and very crazy over there when that goes down. And in California, it's going to be the same thing. And it's going to really be super dramatic. Like I remember when there was an earthquake and the 5 fell. It was 2 layers and one fell on the other. It's going to be so much craziness. There'll be so many people on the road, like, oh my God, damn. It's not going to be like everybody's at home in bed. The roads are going to be full. There's going to be roads that are going to, there'll be buildings that will fall. It's going to be very, very, very dramatic. Very horrible. Very much just like a scary movie. Or Armageddon kind of movie for the people who are there. And then there'll be all different kinds of people who will be there. Because like I said, there's going to be like, some people are going to be like angels. Some people are going to be like saving people. Oh, it's very dramatic. Oh, this is even, you see them as a different color. Oh, man, that's cool. So there's people who are there who are going to save people and help people. There's going to be a lot of that. Because I keep hearing blind leading the blind, but there's going to be these people are going to be there leading, and they are like lit up kind of. So it will be like, I don't know, people, there's going to be a lot going on, man. There's going to be a lot going on. And so whatever goes down there, like a fucking 1, 9, an 8. I think that when the 5 fell on the other 5, I think it was like a 6 or something. Could have been a 7. I don't know. I'd have to look it up. But there's been a lot of shit that is on the roads and stuff from earthquakes. And so you have all these heavily traffic. I bet you it won't. I bet you it will happen in a very heavily trafficked time. And that will be because of divine timing. However it happens is exactly the way it's supposed to happen. But the most impact is going to be the most people leaving. I mean, you just got to keep remembering these. It's like these people are doing their part for the universe. It's like they're giving up what, but there's everything right now is going to be being given up. This is a time of big change. So, anyways, all these people, if there was like a 9 or an 8 or any of that, where they're saying there's gonna be a 9.5 or something, but whatever, and it can start out with a 6, like they could do a 6 as a warm-up, and then it's gonna build. So there can be some more evacuation. There's a lot of people who are starting to evacuate and starting to move and stuff like that. But so it would probably be something like that. There'll be some big ones that will be the beginning, and it will start creating a lot of chaos. That will bring more people onto the road. Oh, fuck. And then a big one hit, and the road's like, fuck. So, there's roads that will just like open and kind of, it's going to be a mess. Oh, God, it's a fucking nightmare, man. One thing too is, remember, like the souls aren't experiencing what we see. Like there's all that light is there. Oh man, that's going to make me cry. Because it's like there's a lot, like angels, or a lot of light that comes in it. So that, but it's going to seem horrific to us. It's going to seem like a motherfucking nightmare. And we just got to keep remembering, like, they did not experience what we are experiencing. They got to leave, and, they're watching from the sidelines too. They're probably watching from their family's side because they know their families are going to be traumatized. And so many of us have families in so many of these places, man. So, so I think that the one over by the Mississippi, I don't know, because it can start being whatever. There's gonna be a lot of things that are gonna go like at once, and it's gonna be like in the domino things, when the dominoes go and it starts developing a pattern, but then the dominoes will hit and it's the whole thing will start showing. That is what it's going to be. It's like right now we're these dominoes and they're all hitting, they're all leading us up to this thing. But then when it hits this thing, it's going to be like this powerful, like all these things are going to happen, and a lot is going to happen at once. And I hope, that that it all is this other stuff that plays out before the landmass. But I don't know. There's so many people saying that the landmass thing's about to happen. So, but over here, over on the West Coast, I'm just hoping that it comes in segments because it is going to be so dramatic. Like one huge one in these heavily populated places is going to be so motherfucking dramatic. Jesus Christ. And it's going to be hellacious. It's going to be like sinkholes opening up and swallowing things. It's going to be really intense. And so I think, I don't know. We just have to see. We just have to go with the flow and just know, like, yeah, it's going to be, the things that are coming are going to be horrific. They are going to be like the end of the world, but it's the end of this world. It's not the end of us. It's not the end of what's coming. It's the end of what was. And then there's parts that are played out to make it more dramatic. So there's a lot of endings that occur, and it has to do with, you know, all different roles of the souls, like all your different experiences and stuff. Like it has to do with this karmic cleanup. So, you know, just there's so much stuff from a soul's perspective that you don't get so caught up in it. You don't get so emotionally engaged. And and then there's going to be a huge test. That's what it's going to be. There's going to be a huge test on you. And for some people, it's going to be a huge development. You know, it's going to be just getting started for them to learn how to funnel their emotions. It's not like completely control them or turn them off or something, but to use them appropriately, you know, because right here, right now, everybody's emotions are on overdrive. People are fragile and overly emotional, and people are losing their minds. Like this video was already taken down from what I understand. I don't know if it's up anymore at all, but this was wackadoo, dude. This guy was wackadoo. So the guy who is filming, which I'm so sick of all this, everybody's filming everybody. It's so absurd. But this guy is filming, and he's at his condos or apartments or something. And there's a guy coming who's out who is walking his dog. The guy who's out, to me, looks very poshy, West Coast, or not West Coast, he looks East Coast. There's like this, I don't know, okay, where the West Coast is all just like, hey, yeah, dude. And West Coast is very, or East Coast is very like up their own ass, like, I don't know, very, well read, and we're very cultured. So they're very like, you know, this guy seemed like that. So he seems like, you know, he thinks he's very cultured and he's a liberal. And so, and they, you know, are so up their own ass. It's like, and all these things that are popping off showing you gotta get out of that ass. It is, you know, it's kind of embarrassing. But they don't know what they stand for yet. So this guy who's filming, he's obviously wearing something that's red, something that says some certain triggering word on it. And this guy who is, you know, Mr. Posh, he starts losing his mind. It is so embarrassing. Oh my God, it is wacky. He starts calling him a mag. You just, oh, you're a mag. What is that, like short for maggot? Like, what are you fucking saying, weirdo? And so he goes off, you're a mag, you're a mag. He starts getting right up close to this guy's thing. And the guy's like, get back, get off of me. And the guy starts like being this like childish, making fun of him. And then the guy who's getting up in this guy's face starts saying, don't you touch me, don't you touch me. And it's like, dude, you are going up and this guy would be like, get the fuck back. And you're saying it's like, it's, okay, where is your rational thought? You are whacked out. You look like a fucking psychopath. And he goes running back in his apartment and all this like screaming and like, it is absurd. And it is a grown ass man. And it is so fucking embarrassing. Like, dude, But, I would say, there's feeling humiliation. He probably will. He probably will have people who he knows and stuff who will say things about, yeah, he looks like a tomfoolery. And that is to get people to see, witness for themselves. Like, ooh, god damn. Just like when the Karens were out. There's a lot of people who started looking at their behaviors a little bit more tighter. Like, well, fuck, I don't want to go out and lose my mind over this. Everybody's going to call me a Karen. And so that is the same kind of thing. Is like, get your shit together. This is what it looks like, people, when you don't have your shit together. So that is, why it's right out there. So everybody can see, because it's a part of the awakening, a part of the scene, and the witnessing. And a lot of the witnessing is going to be very much like seeing yourself and other people. And so and it's all about this transformation, but there is going to be, there's going to be just huge groups of, they're going to be gone. And, I don't know. I just don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about anymore. Oh, I've been talking a long time again. Oh my God, I thought it was just like it just turned an hour. So, let me think if there was anything else. There was a bunch of stuff. I was just like, I was not even thinking I was going to be talking about. This stuff is so weird how it just goes off on something and it's always unexpected. Like, I had no idea what I was going to be talking about. So, anyways, that's that. And everything is, it's like everything is happening for you. It's so true. Everything, you are so important. Everything in this world is happening for you. And it's when you can realize your own importance and take advantage of the things happening and be a part of the things happening, learn from them and see them, speak up about them. Speak up about the things that you see that you don't like and the things that you see that you do like. It's like a participation in a reality of you discovering who you are. And so, anyways, I'll just keep on rambling. So, I don't even know. Who knows what today will bring us? But what it should be bringing you is you working on yourself, learning how to love you, love everyone, and how to have a loving day, because it's totally up to you. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.